Hi there, Joka here with my project with another new collection called Add to Cart 2 from Becky Roberts. Um, if you remember last year, I think it was in the summer, she had a Christmas shopping cart kind of uh, collection, and these products are they work perfectly with that one. This first one here is actually the same card as the previous one. It's just left facing, I believe. So the other one was right facing. And I have a video with this collection from last year on my channel. If I knew how to link it in, I would, but I couldn't figure out yet, or I didn't try. But you will find it on my channel for sure. So I am showing you all the die sets now. There's 4 die sets in this collection and 2 small stamp sets. And you can see all these adorable dies. I ended up not using the cart. I thought, I used it last year, so I'm going to focus on the small elements because there's just so many beautiful ones. I was super excited about the plants. I have no idea actually why, because I have no plants. The only plants I have at home are orchids because those are the only ones that I manage to keep alive. I don't have a green thumb. So I don't know. I was super excited about those pots and plants and the flamingos and the watering can, and so I decided to just use some of these pieces to create a card. Originally I wanted to create or build patterns with them, but they are actually quite large. Some of them are tiny. So yeah, I didn't do that, but you will see what I'm going to be doing. I chose one of my favorite scrapbook collections that I actually used recently for some, I think maybe one of the April die kits. And this is Fancy Pants, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's some summer collection from quite some time ago, at least 3 years, if probably more. And this is such a fun collection, beautiful colors, beautiful patterns, so I felt like using them. And I die cut all these shapes from pattern paper and white heavyweight cardstock, because pattern paper is simply too thin, even though a proper scrapbook collection like this is not thin, not like, I don't know how to explain. It's not too thin, but it's much thinner than cardstock, and I don't think I would ever use it on its own for die cuts. And then I also die cut these plants twice, just to create a more layered look. And then I tucked them, one piece I tucked inside the pot and one behind it, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And my card is actually super simple. I'm just gonna place these 3 pots on it. It's all in the patterns and the colors on this one. Really, it's not complicated. And maybe my cards today don't actually make much sense because especially the third one is quite random. So I don't know, but I think the color, it's all in the colors. So for my background, I wanted to use some black and white papers to create a bit of contrast between all the colors. And one of my favorite ways is to combine 2 colors, or sorry, 2 pattern papers, and then add a slim or skinny stripe in between them as a separation. I actually tried what it would look like without, but I preferred with that black stripe there. And actually, I think my second card is going to be the same kind of setup. I was also thinking, because my go-to design some time ago was using an oval shape in the middle and then add, that would have been a solid color, and then I would have added the die cuts in the middle. But then I thought these three plants would not fit inside, so I just went with this one. And then I will add a stamped sentiment later, but first I'm going to create my other cards. So I definitely wanted to use this flamingo, and I wanted to use it without its leg, but with the, this stick option. And now here, what you see me do is I'm cutting a teeny tiny bit of black pattern paper that I placed behind the eye, because the eye is super, like, there's a super small hole there that I wanted the black to peek through. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's really funny, right? I have these flamingos that look the same. These are for cocktails. And now I die cut this earlier, this watering can, but it's kind of small. So I decided to go with the bigger pot, or this, it's not a pot, a bucket. Oh my God. And I'm just using this bucket. I die cut it from the same patterns as the watering can, because I really like that. That's actually my favorite paper, that colorful striped one. And now I am creating my background again using two different pattern papers with the same setup as the first one was. Of course, I wouldn't need this much of the first layer. I could also measure it and then cut it apart, so that I have a flush surface. But with pattern paper, it doesn't matter as much because it's quite thin. So, and I did not save, but I could have saved like 1.5 inch of that pattern paper for our next project. But yeah. Okay, so I am adding these flamingos into my bucket, and I die cut this hat, and I so wanted to add it on one of the flamingo heads, but I don't know, I thought maybe it was silly, or that hat was too big for that, but so I ended up not doing that. But because I had that die cut, and I had the what did I show you earlier, the watering can, I did not want to waste them, so I created the third card with all kinds of random elements. That's why I said that card was a bit random. I'm adding some foam tape, and in different layers. So some have 2 layers, some have 1, and one doesn't have any. The yellow one I just use liquid glue for, to attach it to the blue, just so that the whole thing is more dimensional, but also it's sturdy, because these flamingos are just on those sticks. So I didn't want to worry about the dimension, that it's gonna collapse or anything. So I just wanted to make sure that nothing is going to get damaged in the mail, if that makes sense. So you see, I desperately wanted to use that, but just didn't happen. So this inspiration to add this flower actually came from the watering can, because that has a teeny tiny small embossed flower in the middle of it. So I used this other set from last year, I think, or maybe even before, one of the small flowers to add a little bit of, you know me, I need flowers on everything. So, and then I will just add a few light pink enamel dots, and I will finish that card later as well. So these are the random pieces that I was telling you about. The teeny tiny embossed flower is not visible on my watering can, and I was not able to, well, I did fussy cut it from a different paper, but it just didn't look great. That's why I used that other flower. And you could see that this plant has a pot at the bottom that has embossed details that are really pretty, but you cannot really see that well on my pattern paper pot because it's very busy, but I still wanted to add that on top. And these are all die cut from two papers, so pattern paper and heavyweight cardstock. I'm just not showing, that process, how I lined them up. And by the way, for my third card, I actually wanted to use just the little bird houses. I also created 5 different ones, but I just couldn't decide on a design. So instead, I'm not gonna use the birdhouse, but I die cut all these gardening tools, and super fun. I love, love, love this collection, and I really hope that I will have time to get back to it someday. Although next month there's so many new products coming that I I have no idea if I'm gonna have time for anything. Probably not. So for my third card, I just used one pattern paper for my background, and I'm really just going to add the little die cuts at the bottom of the card. So it's kind of, I don't know if it makes sense, but I guess it makes sense to me. A bunch of products that, or tools, things that women like. But like I said, I don't have a green thumb, but I also don't have a garden, so I never garden. But I just imagine if I had a garden, I would love to do that. I dream of a garden full of flowers, so maybe one day this is gonna be my hobby instead of crafting, or so I wanted to add my little hat on top of that. I know the name of that tool and I cannot remember right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Never mind. So this collection is actually a lot of it is about gardening. And okay, so now what I wanted to say, these tags are also kind of new, I think maybe from 2 months ago. So I die cut a few for my sentiments, and I'm choosing smaller sentiments that fit on those. And the first one I am just going to stamp with black ink, which I think I never do. It barely fits into that tag, that sentiment, but it turned out okay, I think. But this small one is perfect for some of the really tiny sentiments like this one, and then I'm going to emboss it. I did not do a great job on this. The script sentiment part, it says love grows here, and the grows here part turned out really great, but the love is not very pretty. And then the last one turned out okay. I don't like embossing. I really prefer the glimmer, even though I mess up some of the sentiments there as well, but I think I mess up less than with embossing. Maybe it's the perfectionist in me. I don't know. I only like the embossed sentiments when they are really perfect. So anyway, so now I'm just gluing down everything, and there's no rhyme or reason actually. I'm just tucking things behind the other one. And then I kind of wanted to hang the sentiment from that tool, but um, well, I will make it look like that's what's happening there, but maybe it's not quite perfect. So I'll add some foam tape to that hat and place it on that tool, but I kind of misplaced it. It should be further down, but okay. And so I'm adding some twine to my little sentiment circle or tag, and then I'll add some foam tape, and then it's gonna look like it's hanging from there. And then I'll add a little bit of about one enamel dot in the flower, and then just three randomly off that side where it was kind of empty. And then I realized, I have that pot that has this black floral pattern, and I wanted a little bit more of that in the card, so I decided to add the sole of the wellies. I fussy cut out from this. Well, at first I die cut the shape of the bottom of the wellies, and then I fussy cut out that piece, and then I'm just adding it on top, just for a little bit of black accent there. And then this card is almost done as well. I'll just add some twine, and that's it. And then I'm going back to the other cards to finish them up and add this tag for the first one. So this one is also very simple looking card. I'm not even adding enamel dots or any kind of gems, just some foam tape on this tag, and then it's done. And then for my last card, the flamingos, I did not use a tag. I think it almost fits or just fit into the same shape that I used earlier. But I just decided I prefer to have just a rectangle shape for this one. And then I place my enamel dots a little bit differently than before, and I'll add some more in all corners, kind of. And then that's it. My cards are done. I hope I could inspire you in some small way. I hope you check out this collection because it's super fun, it's beautiful, and full of adorable things. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.